This is a walkthrough of what we have in our repo file. We have our lessons, 10 numbered all the way to 90. The 10s represent the app installation. The 20s is Service Worker and Cache API. The 30s are for IndexedDB and the 40s are for background sync, forms, messaging, notifications, etc. With 90s the final version. I have some demos that I will be giving and I store them in here for you. We have our lab where we have some drills where we go through different exercises, breaking it, testing it, seeing different things. And while we go through our workshop, what we will be doing is you will be building through initial template, starting with a base installation. You will then basically be able to create your own PWA as we go along. They'll have instructions. And for example, when we see here, this is the module 10. The completed version is here. The completed version gets put into the beginning of the module 20. There are some things that we can in the 20s, the same for the 30s and the 40s. So that in this very final version, you have a kind of very skeletal scaffolding for your PWA with all the functionality that we've seen in our course. And this, if we look at the, for example, the page here, we can see it's just a basic skeleton of all the functions that we will be using to create our PWA. And one other thing what we'll do is also down here in dashboard, I have a much more bare bone version. If we click on index, you'll see it just is slicing and dicing each of the different aspects. So if we see that we have different components, that when we open up, we will get this master cheat sheet. And if we go into F12 and for example, let's clear away everything. When we load the page, we will see our add to home screen facility here. We'll see we have that default button here. For notifications, that will come through here. That will be hidden for the moment because I'm recording. But if we close that down, clear all of those. And if we go here and ask for notifications, we reload the page. When we come, we'll get our prompt box. When we allow, a message will appear here. There it is, because I'm recording. It would normally come in across the bottom. We can link between our service worker and our pages. This won't make much meaning now, but if we look down here, we'll have in our caches, we'll have all our different caches, and this one just here got loaded in. So if we delete this one here, for example, and we come up here and we do that once again, once we load that in, we'll see that we're actually caching pages on demand, whether through a click or a hover, and that'll give us some intelligent web pages. It also means that if we go offline, that page we just loaded will manifest even though we're offline. So if we come back up, you can notice how we got the online offline facility. We're measuring our storage facility. We can also note when we're changing, if we go into the network tab and go into throttling, you'll see how it changes from 2G, 3G, 5G. We can monitor that. And we've also seen how we've been able to access online, offline access and show it to the user. With our IndexedDB, we can check whether we have a database, whether we have storage. We can see here, these are all our posts that we've logged in. Let's load the posts. And if we refresh, do that, refresh the database, click and open, bring it all back in. There we see we've loaded. Our row count is 8. It will also change our estimate storage counter here. We have this for offline messages come back. We would get a notification up here, form has been sent. This really becomes more apparent when we're offline. So if we refresh the page, go offline, nothing happens because we're offline. But as soon as we come back online, we will see we'll get that message and we'll get the second notification coming through to say that our form has been received. And we can also see the list of all caches again. So with this template here in the router section, so pardon me, in the dashboard, we basically have our skeletal template for PWA, which we can either take and put into our own website or build our website around these features. Also in here, if we look, we have, you'll have the whole document. If I go into my folder, so I can see them, you'll have in here the what I call the factory. This is our target list for the day. If I bring this across, what we're going to do is look and see that if we've got a regular website, how can we actually put in all these facilities? And these are all options. So we're going from a regular website to a PWA with each or any of all of these functions here. And you also have all my own notes. For example, in this Word document, that is my notes that I'll be using. You'll have a copy so you can keep track of where we are, add your own notes, or if you miss anything, you can go through it. And also what we'll do is we'll also have this chapter that when you go in, it has all the lessons. You can jump to them if you want to, the repo and the final version. And we also have the whole site online as well. So if we come into this one here, it'll be available online. So you'll be able to go with your own devices and actually check how the site is looking and how each of the lessons works on a remote server and on your own device. So that's a little walkthrough of the GitHub repo and all the contents that you have. I've tried to make it so you have all the information at hand, nice and concise, easy to use, so you can start converting your own websites tomorrow with the templates and all the utilities that will be built in here. So it's very much like building a factory today, where you can actually convert websites into PWAs.